When is a 10 not good enough? When you can shoot an 11.
10. Perfect score.
If you didn't like archery, if you didn't care about it, you probably wouldn't feel as excited or as nervous as you do.
In reality, it is a lot more of a sensitive balance.
Please, can you allow yourself to be good?
My plan is still to shoot the best arrows I can all the time.
You will be even more ready, I promise.
The match we picked was the World Cup #1 from 2025. It took place in Antalya in April. And this was actually an interesting tournament because World Archery was testing out a new scoring system.
Yeah.
Or they were trialing it. And the deal was where the X ring, which normally just counts as 10 points, was going to be scored as 11 points. And instead of a 72 arrow ranking round, they were going to do a 60 arrow ranking round.
So shorter ranking round goes faster, still 6 arrow ends, I presume. But then the idea too is you're rewarding closer shots to the middle, especially in compound, that would make more of a difference. And less ties, which is another potential for compound.
Meeri might know more about this than me, but I believe the idea from World Archery was that it would create more separation among the scorers of compounds, so there would be a wider score gap.
It was for that, definitely, because on the men's side, you can see like there's the guys that shoot 710 and over. I think for the men, it's more. It was more for the men than for the women, because in the women we had a little bit more different scores. I would say there wasn't that many like top scores, let's say, that were tied, but I think it was definitely interesting in the men's.
Did you like it more than regular scoring or no?
No.
No.
I feel like it put a different kind of pressure, because I never think about aiming the X. I think about aiming in the 10. Maybe I should really think of like how I'm thinking about it, but it's really hard to like think of now I shoot in the X. And I think another difficult part for me was that I really didn't understand what is a good score and what is not. Because of this 11, and I had just such a hard time calculating. So I was just confused, let's say. Yeah, confused.
Yeah. It took me a minute when I was doing the background of this match. I forgot that this was where they did that, and I'm looking at the scores trying to figure out the ranking round, and I'm like, none of this is lining up. What is going on?
Yeah.
And then, like Meeri's saying, like I found out what Meeri and Robin's ranking scores were, and I was like, okay, 588. I'm like, what is that? I'm like, what am I? It's just all very different. And like you said,
we're all doing calculus to try to figure out
totally
our archery scores. All this. Did World Archery like it? Did other athletes like it? Did fans like it? Was there a general consensus that this was kind of interesting as a new format?
From what I heard, I think it was a 50-50. People thought that it's a good thing to build off of. Maybe there were some talks about maybe we should like make the X another color so it's easier to aim at. I liked that we shot 10 ends, so 60 arrows. I really like that concept and we didn't have any breaks between, so the competition went super fast and super smooth. And I liked the concept in a final setting, because that made it very interesting. And compound archery, in my opinion, can get a little boring for the viewer. So I really like that at a finals field. That put like some extra spice to it, I think.
Yeah, I personally, as an archery fan, I can get kind of interested in the let's say the Vegas type format where you're trying not to miss, which I think World Archery has kind of gotten into that, where it's like they're hitting the 10 so much, there's only a couple arrows typically out of the 10. Most of the time you're just trying to hit the 10 and keep going. However, I think it drives the sport forward and has more dynamic nature of the ebb and flow of competition when you get rewarded for doing exceptionally well on a particular arrow. And if an arrow 2 inches out catches the 10 line and the arrow on the spider catches is the same score value, it muddies the water on like the quality and of the shot. and the ebb and flow of the competition.
Yeah, because in the men's section we saw a lot of like 150 versus 150, and then you still lose, which is kind of like that's a crazy concept. So you're perfect and you still lose. Like, what the heck? So I think I think it makes like a more of a difference in the men's section for now. I hope like in like women will get to that level too.
But like you're saying, in the matches, it definitely made for more interesting matches because there was more momentum swings back and forth versus someone gets a lead and then maybe the lead shrinks a little bit, but it's like kind of the same thing marching through the entire match.
You can kind of protect a lead for over half the match or something. Yeah.
And for like if you're in the losing position, in the trailing position, you have more chances to come back.
Yeah, it's like a bonus ring almost.
Which is the whole point of like the set system, I would think, for the recurve as well. So yeah, I like it. I think it's interesting.
I wish they did it at some other venue because Turkey is pretty windy. I don't remember a qualification that wasn't windy there. So I think that also played into it more, I guess. But I would really like to see it when it's like perfect weather, perfect conditions of what the scores then will be. So we'll see in a couple of years if they take it or not.